Joining us today live on set, a special guest.
What's up, Moto people? My name's Neil Meekins. This is the Moto Chat Show, and today my very special guest is none other than Kerry the Adventurer. She is a young lady who's been riding bikes for around 20 years up in sunny Scotland. She competes in enduro racing and she's ridden all over this world. We're just letting Kerry in now.
Hello?
Ah, that's better. Gotcha. We get there. See, now there's me thinking Scotland, no good for Wi-Fi or phones.
It's not. It's because I live in the middle of nowhere and the people who live on my street are elderly and refuse to pay for the money that the BT needs.
Do they? Where do you live, Kerry?
At Lockery,
Where's that?
halfway between Perth and Inverness.
Small little Scottish town. Born
Well,
and raised?
I was born in France, actually.
There's a difference. So you was born in France and your name's not Kerry. Well, it is, but it's not.
No,
So your name is?
it's Lauren.
It's Lauren.
Lauren Perry Wright. There's a long story behind it. It's about my brother's girlfriend's called Lauren.
Right.
So I just changed my name to Kerry to make it easier.
Kerry, you've been riding motorcycles for how many years did you say?
I think it's 23, 24.
23, 24 years. Let's say 24. Now you're going to give away your age. So how old was you when you started on motorcycles and what was your first motorcycle?
I was 4 and it was a Yamaha PW80.
PW80?
Yeah,
Okay. You was 4?
yeah.
So who got you into motorcycling?
My dad, he's a biker.
Ah, proper biker? Like, does he race or anything? Or, ton up
Used
boy?
to- He used to race in the British Superbike in the 80s and 70s.
Did he really? So you're a thoroughbred then. You've got his blood running through your veins and it's put you onto a bike and you love it.
Yeah, but the complete opposite, like dirt.
Yeah, dirt or tarmac, I suppose. There's not many other choices really, is there? But look, you started when you was 4 and what was you doing? Like just doing like competitions and stuff or just like in the back garden? What?
Started out in Belgium, actually. We lived in Belgium at the time. And it was in our back garden. We had a massive back garden and it was like a flat football field kind of like,
Yep.
So it was perfect to learn on. I actually ran him over the first time I rode.
You ran your dad
I
over?
ran him right over. Cause
So there can't be many people that have run their dad over.
I ran my brother over by a quad as well because he stood in front of me and said that he wanted it. And I'm like, that's a bad idea.
So you've done your brother, you've done your dad. Your mum, have you run her over?
No, she doesn't go near us when we're on the bike.
She's not a
She's very
biker.
smart. No, she's not.
Any other bikers in the family?
Well, they did get my brothers into it, but they never stuck.
Right. Wimped out, did they?
Yeah, it never really stuck. My brother wants to get his test done, but he lives in Edinburgh, so he has a high chance of me getting his bike stolen. So there's no point. He's like, what's the point when it's just going to get stolen?
Well, yeah, unless you've got a garage or somewhere to put it. It's like us down in London. I mean, anybody who puts their bikes out on the street, you're asking for trouble, especially if it's worth a few. Well, actually, it doesn't matter what bike it is. They'll whip it away as soon as look at it.
I was down in London in February with the WR final, and Sean came to stay with us. We had an Airbnb all together.
Yep.
He had the Himalayan, the Royal Enfield, and she had it below our window for about those 2 nights, and no one was interested.
That's because it's a Himalayan.
Yeah.
If it had been a decent bike, someone would have. No, I don't mean that. I love the Royal Enfield Himalayan, actually. I think they are fantastic bikes, especially if you want to tour around India or something. I mean,
I think I'm not going to be biased, but I think they're good, but there's other bikes for the same value for a lot better.
Yeah.
They're 200 kilograms and only got 40 brake.
Yeah, very, very low
Yeah,
powered.
650 that does the same. You could get a Honda 250L that does the same.
Yeah.
And they're lighter.
You are actually a racer, aren't you? You are an enduro bike racer. And are you actually, yeah, exactly. So are you on the European circuit or the British circuit? How does it work? What's your
I used to race motocross when I was younger,
Okay.
under 13 kind of like level. And then I stopped because I went to school. I came back over. I used to live in Egypt when I was 15. So I did a couple of
Okay.
desert stuff over there when I was there.
Cool.
When I came back up, I had to go to high school, and I came over to Scotland and went to a boarding school.
Okay.
Uh, I had to drop all that, obviously, because I didn't have the time. I couldn't have a bike there. I didn't have any space to do it, or anywhere to put it, or go anywhere. I was stuck. And the only time I did was when I went back home to Egypt. So it died to death until I left college, and I must have been 20. And I had an old quad, and I used that, and I got that up and running, and then I got a little motorbike, a little motocross bike, and I did that. And then when I was 20, I got a bike, a DT, and I rode that, and then it got stolen.
Classic bike.
Yeah, I love it. I want one again, but they're way too overpriced now.
Was that
And
DT125?
yeah, it was a 1993, so it's the same age as me, so I loved it. That's why too much. It was like everything was original, everything. I didn't do what all the boys do now, make them into supermotors and wreck them. But it got stolen, sadly. And I had to walk home, and it was like 10-mile walk home with bike gear on, and it's like really hot summer, and it was horrible.
Yeah, I can remember having to push a Suzuki Bandit home for a mile after they nicked it off my doorstep and dumped it in a park, and I had to push that all the way back home. So I think us bikers all know about that kind of.
I did get it back a couple of years later. So then I got a Honda. I had a Honda scooter that my gran got me because obviously it got stolen and I needed transport to get to work. And I loved it. Great. I went everywhere over Scotland with it. It was only a little 100. I only did 60. And it couldn't go any faster than 60. And sadly, it overheated. And they were a very common problem with them. And Honda refused to do a fix, even though it's under warranty. While I was looking for engines, I saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them with the same problem. I'm not bashing Honda, but they really annoyed me because my gran had bought it for me. That got pushed out the way, and then I had to open up my savings, sadly, that my granddad had left me when he died. And I had to pull that money out that I was actually using to save for something better, to buy a bike to get me to work. And I got that, and it was a little Yamaha MT125.
Right.
And I love that bike. I went everywhere. I went to England. I went to everywhere on that little 125. And it was great. And I know the new owner. I sold it once I got my big test.
Sorry, did you have to do a CBT?
Yeah, I did the CBT when I got the DT.
Right.
And then I just kept doing them over and over. I thought I'd wait till I'm 24. So, because the license system is a bit messed up with the whole A2 thing. I didn't want to buy it, got an A2, and then wait, and then get to pay for the same price again.
Was there a lot of girls in your town and that riding bikes at the time, or was it all male dominated?
I didn't actually get to see any females really until I got my big test.
Right.
I actually rode with all males.
Yeah.
That whole time. There's only my local group, but they're not competitive. They're all really slow compared to me. I'm kind of like chug along behind them.
Yeah.
And I tried to help them, and we were talking about this last night. There was one girl in our group who's riding a bit too slow to the point where it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And she rides a big bike, so we're a bit like, she's not a beginner. How did she pass her test? Kind of thing. So a lot of them even turned around and went, Kerry, you need to go out for a ride with her.
Bit too cautious.
Yeah, they're like, you need to put a reiner in. She's doing the typical thing, getting her bike lowered and everything. And I said this to someone the other day on Facebook, and you know what? I'm going to put it up on my blog, because that's how good of the thing I said. Someone said they want a bike that's small, and they want a bike that's lowered, like that they can lower. And I said to them, going, no, don't do that, because actually it doesn't. She went on to how my confidence went, no, it does the opposite, because what ends up happening is then you're leaning on that crutch, because now it doesn't help your confidence, because you're not pushing yourself. You're always going to stay at that level, and that's not helping with the confidence, because you will only think that you can only ride a bike that's lowered. And sadly, as an engineer mind, motorbikes can't be any lower than they are, because the engine's this size alone.
Yeah.
It's the length of your leg is the engine.
Yeah.
So, and I said this, I know people who've got these big adventures and then they lowered them. I lowered mine the first year, and then I went and got a suspension specialist, and he went and set it up for me for the race. And I took out the lowering spring out, because I got to that. I only got it to get used to it, because it was my first big bike.
How tall are you, Kerry?
I'm 5'8".
Oh, so you're quite a tall lady then. You're not.
I am tall torso, but short-legged.
Okay, so your legs have difficulty, yeah. But what you're saying is you shouldn't let that be a reason that stops you from riding the bike. You
get their weight lowered, they're never happy, because they go from one bike to the other, because they can only pick bikes that are in that category, so They can't pick what they want. And I'm short, and I know many riders that are short that race rallies. It's harder for us, because we might be on a hill that's on uneven camber and we can't get our foot down.
Okay, yeah.
So we have to learn to overcome that skill.
Okay.
And I know people who've raced in Dakars and all sorts, and say that people who are shorter will whip their asses, because we have to learn to get over the obstacle compared to them. They've got like the same with the crutch, where they're being lowered.
Gotcha.
They've had their legs with a crutch. They've always learned to waddle their way through, but we can't waddle the way through, so we have to learn to overcome them.
I'll try. I am going to try it at some point, but I definitely see where you're coming from. So. Going back, you rode around on your 125 for a while, and then you did your test when you were. Did you go in when you were 24? Do your DAS?
I did it literally within my birthday. So when I was 24, sadly it didn't go well, because I actually got. This is where my story gets sad. At the same time as I got sick, I got mental health issues. I got depression, anxiety at the time. And I had to leave work, because I went into a mental breakdown. I went into hospital and all sorts.
Okay.
And so that really pushed it. It made it really hard to get my test done, because mentally I wasn't right. But so I failed my Mod 1 5 times, and I've been riding 23 years. Even the people at my test center were like, "There's something really going on wrong." They know me really well.
Yeah, sure.
What helped me a lot with getting it done, there was my partner at the time, and we're still friends. I got him into riding as well. I took calm herbal tablets, and he said to me, "Think that you've already failed. Like, once you go in the car park, think you failed, because then you're relaxed because you're thinking, oh well, you know, it's already done, and that worked the most.
It's funny that you talk about this, because one of the things that Lizzie, that's my other half, and I have come across in the learning of riding motorcycles is people suffering from anxiety on the motorbike. And I tell you, it's a big thing. I mean, the physical side, and you're a prime example of this, the physical side of it, you can cope with like water off a duck's back, but the mental side is just something else that gets into your mind. And everybody has different anxiety attacks about different things. It gets into you. And it seems to be in motorcycling, it's a very, very, very big thing. So there you are, you're suffering from anxiety, stress, depression, and you want to do your motorcycle test. You're already a competent motorcyclist. So what happened? What's next?
So I did that and I passed. And I bought the bike before my test. I actually bought Robin, as we can say, the KTM.
Robin?
I bought him, yeah, he's called Robin.
Okay.
He's called Robin after Iron Brew, because the inventor of Iron Brew is called Robin Barr.
Okay, cool.
So there we go, guys. If anyone's I was looking for that really to orange, because he's orange. Something that was Scottish. And the only other name was William Orange, who was in the War of the Red Jackets against Scotland and murdered millions of people. Or it was Iron Brew. So Iron Brew won.
Sounds
good.
Yeah,
so that's why he's called Robin. But I bought him way before my test.
Yep.
I already decided, even though a lot of people were like, I was worried because it was 1,000. I've gone from 125 to 1,000.
Big jump. Yep.
Like that's from 15 brake to 150.
Get in there.
It was hard. I put it in my head, and I wouldn't recommend anyone do this. I have been riding for a long time, remember. So I already knew that psychologically. I knew I could probably be fine, because I can ride for a long time. And it was a heavy bike and it's tall. I have dropped him a lot, and I dropped him a lot when I first got him. I dropped him, I think, on a pavement like 3 times within the first week I bought him. The first time I got my test done. So I got my test done, and once it done, that was it instantly. The insurance was turned over, and that was it. I was on and going. And then I sold the 125 to a really nice guy, and I sold it to actually an insurance broker, because it needed a little bit of things done. There was wiring problems and stuff, and they fixed him. And then I didn't know who the owner was. I really wanted to know who the owner, and they couldn't do it because they can't say, because of legal reasons. And I just turned up in Edinburgh and I saw it, and I'm like, oh my God, look. I found him on Facebook, and we ended up being friends, and he's been telling me all the updates about it and everything, and he's not going to sell it. So I'm happy that it's gone for someone who's never going to sell it.
That's cool.
Because that's what I don't want. And it's not owned by some teenager who's going to
smash it up and wreck it, just abuse
family,
it.
Got kids,
Yeah.
So it's got a good life. So that was, me getting my test done. It wasn't easy, but I worked for it, and I worked really hard. I knew that I can't live without a bike. It was simple as that. And then, so I got my bike done. I got on Robin, and I rode him for a while, and then I started getting into off-roading. That's why I got him. I wanted something that could do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I did research, and I wanted something that could race at some point, something that could do off-roading, and something that could be my only transport. And that was it. I did lots of research. It was the Africa Twin that was the runner-up. The B&W, but I knew it was way too heavy. That was the only thing. The 990, I really wanted the 990 or the 1190. I wanted the 990 the most, but I could find anywhere in the whole of Scotland that was selling one at a dealership. So obviously I had to pick the 1190. So I started getting into off-roading. I started riding with these guys. They were advertising that they'd go and do off-roading, and the off-road is illegal in Scotland. You have to get permission. We don't have green lanes.
Oh.
We have these things called bings. So they're just coal pits, like slags of coal. They're owned by the Scottish Coal Company. And they leave them just for bikes to run around on. There's that. So there's that problem. So there was these, Facebook, I was asking if there was anyone who's going off road or if there's any group. So I rode with these guys. I'm not going to name them because it didn't go very well.
No.
So I had only owned it for 4 months up to then. I got out and I met them, and they were in Glasgow, so it was already quite a long way. It was about 2 hours ride from me anyway.
Yeah.
We met them in the car park and it was all fine. And I told them about my history, and they were like, "Oh, you'll be fine. You'll ride fine."
Sure.
But I think my anxiety got ahead of me because obviously I'm meeting all these new people. My first time taking a big bike off road with people in like the last 10 years. We got off road and I dropped the bike a lot. They were just being a bit snarky and there was no women there either. I was the only woman. You know, they were nitpicking me the whole day. I didn't know if it was like the thing, the banter or what. You know, I made some friends who were good. I made one who was really good from it all. And he's helped me through Hispania Rally. And, you know, I have to link him to this when it's done. Everyone probably knows him. He's called Ollie Bashel.
Ollie Bashel?
Yeah, Bashel. And he did Hispania. He did Hallis. He got 3rd place in M6 class in Hallis last year.
Okay.
He was the runner-up to Chris Birch on the podium. So he got into a qualifying for Dakar and everything, and he helped me all the way through Hispania Rally. You know, I asked him about everything. I said to him, like, how do I do this, and how, you know, and he told me everything, and it helped me a lot.
What a mentor.
Yeah, and I think he's an ambassador for heavy enduro as well.
So that was a chance meeting.
Yeah, so I met him then at that, with those guys. But the problem was, once I finished that, then, because obviously I dropped it a lot, they thought I was maybe a novice, you know? It upset my ego, kind of, you know, a bit. I felt a bit flattened.
Yeah. Like you would.
And then I got told, he was like, "Oh, I need to get insurance in case, you know, something goes wrong or whatever. Something like you, and then you get hurt or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine." He started going off-roading with other people, and I'm like, "Okay, but I thought you were going to get insurance first." You know, and I was asking him, like, you know, "When are you going to go off-road? When are you do this?" And I just started chasing, and it got to the point where I was getting angry because we're such a small community in Scotland. Everyone knows each other, and we all bump into each other, and you know, we can't really escape each other and everything.
Yeah.
And I was angry because you meet them and you're like, so that was, you know, I met them and I just gave up in the end, and I ended up making Awesome Players Scotland. Awesome Players is a big community. We're around the world. So it originally started in Canada, and it's all about group up and be friends. So,
Awesome Players.
Awesome Players Scotland. So, and it's just Awesome Players as well, because there's Canada, there's Australia, there's Norway, I think there's Germany, France, somewhere in South Africa, I think, as well. There's Wales, and there's England. You know, the England one's been out for a while because I messaged him asking if I could take over, and he said no. Yeah, so I started that up. And it took a while, you know, to get people wanting to start grouping up. Finally have met like 3 people who are interested, and, you know, we go out on the weekends. They're not as fast paced as me, you know, they're a bit of a plodder, and I'm fine with that. I'm not actually a fast paced person. I can if I want to, but
just experienced, aren't you? So that experience carries you probably that little bit quicker than a novice.
And I was happy this year. I met one. He was great. He never ridden off-road before. He bought a V-Strom, and he wanted to learn how to ride gravel. And I sent him to a load of links on Facebook and everything to get him prepared for it, you know, and he did brilliant. Like, he did outstanding. He did stuff that, you know, I was terrified of when I first got the big bike.
Cool.
You know, doing. And he was doing it like, you know, he went up a cliff, practically much. I got halfway and the bike bogged out, and I still got up, and he was fine, you know.
And you just hate that.
So I was impressed that, like, you know, that I helped him with that, and we go off-roading. And he's not English. He's, I think he's from Hungary as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I made Awesome Players. You know, I'm trying to get more people into off-roading in Scotland. And trying to make a community of all these green lanes and everything together.
Yeah.
so we can, I'm not going to charge people, or anything. I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
I see people do it all the time, and I think it's wrong.
So you. So you start competing in full on enduro races.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So what I'm saying, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And then I went to Horizon Unlimited down in England.
Right.
It was an event down in Hags Bank that they have in September, and I did that last year.
Oh, I saw that. Is that on your YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on your YouTube channel. Yeah.
So that was an interesting event. That didn't go down very well.
Why not?
So those guys went there. Those guys that I had rivals with. Two or three of them were there. There was two that I already knew and one I didn't know, but they ride with him. And they just slagged me the whole time. They're like, oh, that was too big. You can't handle that. You can't do this. You can't, you're dropping it too much. You're doing this. And it was just bullying, and because of my mental health, that was why I was dropping it more, because they were pushing and pressuring me.
Right. And you make mistakes when people are obviously causing you anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated that, and I almost killed the guy. He rides a big BMW GS and then brings along his little Dakar bike and then gives me shit. I'm just like, well, where's your GS? Where's your big bike? That was really angry, and the whole day, that was what I got every day, every minute, every time I stopped, every time I dropped my bike. I felt shame. So that didn't go down very well, and I was the only girl in that group as well. All the other girls that were there were riding in the novice class. They weren't riding in my class, the experienced class. It really upsets me, because it was like they were being sexist but not obvious. That's the problem here, is they don't say, oh, it's because you're a woman, because you do this. They do it, but in a very smart way. They don't say that it's because you're a woman.
No.
They'll say, well, that's too big, that's too this, you need to, they don't go across to go, well, if you did it this way, it would help. Or like try to actually help you, not instead of pushing you down.
Sure.
And that's what upsets me, and that it makes me angry. I think I only know 3 women who ride the same bike as I do. One's in America. She rides the 1290, not the 1190. And she rides with the Revit. I think she's a member of the Revit.
Right.
Lady group. So, there's that's the thing. There's a small niche for KTMs, because BMW does really well. They market their bikes really well to women.
Yeah.
But KTM doesn't. KTM really doesn't do it very well.
Okay.
And it's a big problem. And they're great bikes, and I don't get why, because they're the lightest as well of all the adventure bikes on the market.
Yeah, I know there's quite a big call for them at the moment, KTM, isn't there? I mean, I've never ridden one, I don't know, but there's a lot of people really rate the KTMs.
Yeah, they're so light.
Yeah.
It's like, my bike feels like a little 250 when I'm off-road. That's how light and how well balanced they are.
Yeah, brilliant.
So I got that feeling, and it made me angry and upset, and I felt really deflated, and I didn't know if I should get a lighter one. I don't know what.
So
You
actually,
know,
what had happened is they'd put doubt in your mind as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was really upset my mental health because I now think that like I can't ride with anyone because I think they're probably going to be the same. But it wasn't really until last year in November I saw there was in the Lyndon Poskett came up, and I met him in November in Glasgow.
Okay.
And I wanted just, I saw the event and I thought I should go. I love Lyndon Poskett. I think he's great. And what he does is amazing, and he's inspiring hundreds and thousands of people to do. That's proving that you can go around the world and you can race on the way. So I spoke to him when I was there, and I said to him, like, I'd love to do what you do. I can't, but I feel pressured because I'm a woman, or I feel danger that I can't travel or solo because I'm a female. And he was like, yes, they're yours as a woman. Yes, you do have your risks. You have a higher risk than being a man. And I will tell you why, because I did get a lot of them when I was traveling.
Right.
Just with Europe, not even outside Europe. I spoke to him and that changed my life. I felt really inspired when I left, and it made me kick up the bum, just to be like, what, stuff them.
Yeah.
You can do what you want. Why you listen to other people? You need to be inspiring to other people. They can't tell you how to ride. They can't tell you what to ride.
Yeah.
You ride what you want, and size doesn't matter. Yeah, you might do it better if you're in a lighter one, but are you going to enjoy it more, or are you going to be? Can you afford it? Most people can't afford two bikes. Most people can't afford to have a rally bike and have an adventure bike.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't drive a car. That makes it even more harder.
Yeah, I don't drive a car either. I've just got two bikes.
So I was looking at rallying this year, and I was speaking to Ollie about it. And there's nothing in England. There's only that rally moto, but that's actually only rally classes. They're not really a race. You don't actually win anything from it. You don't.
No real enduro races in.
No, there's hare and hounds, but they don't. Well, big bikes would crush someone on one of those races. They would kill someone.
Really?
They're really tight, and they're going through woods, and it's like a motocross track in a wood path like that.
But there's no big enduro stuff in England.
Not for big bikes, really. There's rally moto, but they're only one day. They only go for one day at the weekend, and that's it. There's nothing else.
Bit deflating, isn't it, that there's no real decent enduro style tracks in that in the UK? Maybe somebody out there can start something up, because there's obviously a bit of a gap in the market.
Scotland would be great because we have the best rally. We have like trails that go miles and miles and miles, but they're not legal. But if you easily contact the Forestry Commission, they'd probably be okay with it if you use it for the ring.
All we need is a billionaire who's into motorbikes, especially enduro racing, who can put some money down into building a course and contacting the Forestry Commission or the government, or and start to get people outdoors, doing something like this, because obviously it's
hundreds of people, because when I was at the race, there was people from all over the world there.
Yeah.
To big Dakar winners, to
Maybe we could message Richard Branson and get Virgin Enduro on it or something like that. Virgin Moto.
So,
probably not Richard Branson, actually. Somebody else.
I was looking at rallying in Europe, and I wanted Halles. Halles was my goal. It's in Greece, and that was my goal, and I was meant to do it this year.
Right.
COVID.
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw something a gal. She is a blog and writer, for Adventure Rider, and she wanted to gang up a load of women and go together and that.
Yeah.
And race together. And I went, okay, well, I put the hammer down and says, I'll do it.
Okay.
I never heard of Hispania Rally before. It's not really classed as a big race. It was with FIM, but not anymore. So then that was fine, and I started getting down and started getting things ready and got the bike ready, and I know the things I needed to do to it to get it to race. and I only had 2 months to really get it ready, because this was like, the race was in March, and this was like December, January time that I got told
Yeah.
what she wanted to do. So that was fine, and I got the bike ready, and I got it, everything put on. I had to get new air filters. I had to do the suspension and
Yeah.
everything like that. You don't need to do it. I will admit the bike's probably fine stock. It probably could do it stock. Any bike can. You know what? I even said to them I'll come back one year and do it on 190 just to put them all in their shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing with like rallies. Actually, people think that you need a big bike, but actually you could probably do it on a small bike.
Yeah, you're right. It's just having the gall to get out there and do it, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So, like, if you know, there's one guy as well, and I hope to meet him in my travels. Is Nurbuan. He rides my bike, but he rode it across Simpson Desert.
Where's that?
It's Australia.
In Australia, yeah.
It's that whole middle bit is the Simpsons Desert of Australia. No one lives there.
No.
I did Hispania, so then so I got it ready and I started leaving, and I got the bike ready and I left. But the bike wasn't ready until the day before.
Sorry, how did you plan on going down to Spain? Was you riding down there or take it?
I rode all the way there.
On the same bike that you were going to take part? Oh, cool, man. How long did that take you?
It took me about, I think, on the way there wasn't as fun because I had to do it in 3 days.
And what did you take a tent or did you stop in hotels or?
I had friends who helped me, actually.
Okay.
So I rode down from here to Swindon in the dark because the bike wasn't ready until the day before I had to leave. Wow. And then stuff I still had to do. I still had to pack. I still had packed my stuff, but I hadn't put it in the panniers or anything yet, And I still had a rack to put on. I still had the panniers to get ready.
Did you get the ferry straight to Spain or did you go to France first or?
Yeah, so what I did is I went down to Swindon.
Yeah.
And then I stayed at one of my good friends there. And then I woke up in the morning. I bought a new battery and it didn't work. The bike didn't want to turn over. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I got it charged. Didn't know if it needed charged again. I don't know what was going on. You can't really say much. It's a new battery because you're like, well, it should be new. It should work.
Yeah.
And then I went along the road. I got it fixed, and my front tire went. It went flat and came off the rim. It was no puncture. There was nothing. Couldn't understand. Didn't know what it was. So I got it fixed. And that was quite funny. I called down the breakdown for that because I didn't know what it was. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to send it to a garage or whatever. And the breakdown guy says, I said to him, he didn't know what he was doing. So I said to him, just give me your tools, I'll do it myself. So I took his tools and used the ratchet, got it back on the bead. And he went, I never knew that you could do that. I'm like, well, you've learned now.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
By then I missed the ferry, sadly. So I booked the next ferry, and I thought, that's the tire fixed. I didn't know what was going on. Again, I woke up the next morning. I went around the corner and the tire came off again.
And you're all on your own, aren't you, Kerry?
My friend who I was staying with, he's actually disabled, so he couldn't help me. He's in a wheelchair. So I had to do it by myself anyway,
Yeah.
So what I done is I fixed it. We had got a ratchet the day before because I said I went into town and got a ratchet. I went in the bus and got a ratchet. So I fixed it. And then I went and found a garage nearby, and it was a great place, and I love it. It was I can't remember the name. I'll have to give you it for edit. It's like an old vintage garage. They had like old Nortons all over the place, like this. It's like this little garage that no one knows about, and I love it because they're not sponsored by anyone. They're not branded by anyone. So they, all they do is fix bikes. They're not biased by any means.
I love coming across little places like that.
And they fixed they looked at my rim and they said someone before has used that quick fix foam stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because they eat away at the metal in your rim.
Yeah.
Like a tubeless. And he says your rim will never take a tubeless tire again.
No.
Because that's it, it's stuff. So we put a tube in, and that was it. It was fixed. Again, I missed the ferry. And then I got the ferry. I got another one booked, and this is this is eating away at my time now. I was like, okay, I'm missing out. I can't see things. Those things I was going to take time to go and see.
Yeah.
So there was a big storm going on at the time. So then the next day I went along, and I went down to Portsmouth, and they went, "Oh no, the ferry from here to Santander has been cancelled because of all the storms." And I'm like, "Are you joking me?" And they went, the next one was on like the 2nd, and I had to be there for the 1st. So I said to them, "Okay, just get me the one to Saint Malo. That's in France."
Yeah, right.
So I got that ferry there, and then it was there. It was like an hour. I had to wait, and then I was on the ferry.
Right.
So I got to Saint Malo, and someone I knew before, because I was originally going to go via the tunnel, but then I changed to get I decided to get the ferry instead. I contacted them that day and said to them, "Are you still free? Can I come and stay at yours?" And I never met them before. They were strangers. I met them on Facebook. I didn't know who they were. I don't know if they were going to kill me and sell my kidneys.
Yeah.
And I didn't turn up until nighttime. So I got on the ferry, and then I had a 6-hour ride to do from Saint Malo to Bordeaux. And then I had to meet them in this little village that they messaged me in the dark. So and they were telling me, "Oh yeah, you'll be staying in our caravan," and I'm like, I got to know them, and they were great, and they were bikers as well. So I felt at home when I got to know them.
Yeah.
And they were great. They were really, really handy in the end. So I got that, and I got up the next morning. I had a shower. The shower was interesting because it was a little cubicle out in a barn.
Right.
Because their house was a vineyard that they were turning into a house. So it was still a building site at the time.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
That's all right.
So I got up early and got going, and I had to do 1,000 miles in that day. I only had that one day to get to Granada. That was about 1,000 miles. So I had to do that. So that took 12 hours.
But you was exhausted after all this, weren't you?
And then the next day I've got to do scrutineering. So
what's that? What's scrutineering?
So anyway, I'll tell you in a minute. I got there, and the girl was there, and everyone, they were all there, and all the shops were shut because it was a Sunday, so they didn't get any food. So I'm getting there and I'm starving, and there's no food. So the next day, anyway, scrutineering is when you have to do your paperwork. So you have to show your V5, and you have to get insurance, and you have to get your number, and everything like that. That's what scrutineering
registration
is. All the paperwork, the
registration, all the registration part. Yeah.
And then you have to get insurance, race insurance and stuff.
Right.
You can't buy yourself, but you're cheaper to buy it. You're cheaper to buy it at the race. It's like, I did that, and the bike had to get its road book on. I hadn't put the road book because I hadn't had time, because I had run out of time. So I thought I'll just do it when I'm at the race. So a team helped me out, and I got it fitted, and it was all good. So, and I got tires off them, so I changed my tires over. I had to buy tires there. I asked over and over and over about tires, and I looked at getting them shipped and everything. And Domino, who runs Hispania Rally, said, "Yes, there's a team that will be. There's Atlas, a tire company. They'll be there. They'll sell tires." They were not there. So I turn up, and I'm like, "Where's the tire place? I need tires. I can't race in road tires."
No.
So I'm running around looking for some, and sadly my back wheel is wider than any enduro tire is. So I'm running around like a headless chicken by this point, looking for tires. And this one team says, "We got some, but we don't have a mousse for your back tire, because you're meant to race with mousses, because they're like, they're just like wall insulation. They're just foam. So if anything goes in, it doesn't like kill it. You can just ride with the nail in, and it doesn't, you just keep going."
Yeah.
My back tire is too wide for a boost, so that was that. So I had to get tube in. And they had tires, but they charged me a lot. So anyone who's done races, take your own stuff.
Oh God, yeah, that's a good point. And don't listen to people that say there's going to be tyre people there, just in case there ain't.
Well, I would say any other race will, but Hispania
Right.
Rally, no, they're really unorganized.
You're not going to tell me you didn't get to the race in the end, are you? After all of this.
No, I did, and I was on the last clock. The bike was ready before they were going to shut up registration. So they have to go and check your bike over and check that your numbers match your frame and your engine and everything. And there was one kit that I bought, and my bike has the problem with the front end's too weak, that it doesn't that it can snap. There's like these two little bits that stick out, and the headlight holds onto them, and they snap straight off.
Right.
So I bought this kit to try and help. And there's a problem with it. It covers up the VIN number of your frame.
Oh, so they have to take it off.
So, no, he was nice because I was very smart and I took a photo before I put it on.
Cool.
So I had to show him it on my phone and he was fine with that because it was getting late. I bet you if I did it earlier, he would have said no.
No.
Because it was getting late. I think he was just like, yeah. I got that problem fixed, and that was fine, and the bike was ready and it had its number on.
Right.
And I was happy. I was fine, So then it comes to the first day, and I get to the race, and the first day didn't go down very well. So I got told by the guy who my tent was with, he had raced in the 90s in the Dakar on an old BMW 650 back in the old days, and he'd won, before. So he was telling me what to do and telling me advice, and he was so excited because I was the only one in his paddock with a massive bike. So there was that problem. He was telling me anyway. He was a big fan, and he was hugging me, you know what I mean? He was all like, really excited. He was just like, well done, you're brave. He was, everything. So he was telling me, take your time. The first day, take your time. Today's not a race. Today is a practice. Today's to get your feet ready and everything. Because he says people are going to crash today. He's like, people are going to get into that mind frame. They go, go, go. And he says people will crash. Right. So take your time, run around and go crazy. So I get to the first stage. I get past the first stage, and I did really well, and I got good timing. After about 2 miles after the first stage, my bike dies, and I don't know why. And the clutch, it'll start, but then we'll go into gear. And I was just like, what's going on here? Once I go into gear, it's just like doing that. And I couldn't even start it. I couldn't do anything. And I went and looked down, and my clutch sleeve was pissing everywhere. And I was on a trail with no clutch fluid. So I had to call the truck to try and get the bike back. And the guy, they never turned up, but the guys with the stage turned up. When they were packed up, and they were just like, they were in a little pickup truck. So, and I got this massive bike that's like, and they're just like, we don't know if this is gonna work. So then we got it in the back, and there's a funny video I think on my YouTube of them putting it in the back of the van.
Is that in your Hispania videos?
Yeah, the first one. They got it in, and they had to take they took all the panels and everything out that they had. So that they had to leave them there. So we go back on this dusty, rocky, thing, crossing my fingers that the bike doesn't fall off. Yeah. This is like an enduro track. This is hard for cars alone. That was the first day. It didn't go down very well. So that really messed up my numbers, because when you brake, it puts you down at the bottom, because obviously you lost all your time. So that didn't go down very well. And I get back. The guy with the tent, I was in the Mali motor class as well. So the Mali motor class means that you don't have a mechanic. You don't have someone that's going to fix it at the end of the day. You have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So I was up until midnight, and I'm running around looking for hydraulic fluid as well, running, again, headless chicken. And again, I've got anxiety and depression. So, at this time, I'm already testing my mental health. So I ran around, got hydraulic fluid, was spending hours fixing it, and I didn't know why, and it wasn't working. There was a guy, Matthew was there, and he had the 990. He had a spare slave. but it was for a 990. So we're a bit like, do they match? We don't know if they work. And we found out it worked, and it fitted, and it was great, and I got it working again, and we got going. I got it going again. So the next days went fine, the next 3 days, they all went fine. I still was catching up myself from the first day. I was still, I think the overall rank I got was 150 or something out of 250, so I did okay.
Is it worth all the heartache trying to get there, the actual riding part?
The riding there, not so, but you could have done better than me.
Once you're actually in the competition, everything melts away. What's your...
What we woke up to. Just, so we're on day 2 now of our trip. So we'll probably be going over to Loch Ness. That's our bike.
That enduro riding must give you something. What does it give you?
It does. I will admit, it is great. Races are great, and it's not just the race; it's the people at the race are great.
But are you, Kerry, trying to beat other people, or are you trying to beat yourself?
Yeah, for myself as well. So I was doing this really for my own mental health.
For me, riding a motorcycle takes me away from everything. It takes me away from normal life. It puts me into a zone where I'm just free of everything. And that's why I absolutely love it. And it does a lot for me as a person. Is it the same for you? Do you get lost in the moment or? Yeah,
I do. I feel nothing can go wrong, really. Like, I can always, it's an adventure, every time you leave your door is an adventure. There was someone today on Facebook put something up and he went, I don't know where to go. And I'm like, just go for a ride and go wherever you want. Just turn right or turn left. You never get lost. It's an adventure. And that's one thing I like about the rally as well, because it's all road books. You could get lost because you maybe took the wrong turn.
Yeah.
I did that lots of times, but you get to see some of the best views that way, and you get to see some little houses in the middle of nowhere for some reason. The rally, I would say, for anyone, it's not just that. If you'd like an adventure, it's the best way to see a country as well. But because you get to see it in a different way that no one else gets to see.
Have you got many women at these rallies, Kerry?
That was the other thing I was annoyed at. When I went to Hispania, there was 250 riders.
Yeah.
And there was only 6 women out of the whole race, including me. So that's 5.
It's about 3% of the. Yeah. About 3% of the intake is women. That's small, isn't it?
And they're all on small bikes. There were none of them that were on an adventure bike.
No.
And I was the only one out the whole race that rode there as well. And my bike was finished, and I still came home, and I was fine.
Kerry, let me ask you, you've obviously travelled on your own on a bike, and I know you've mentioned a few things to me a little while ago. Do you have any bad experiences travelling on your own as a woman through Europe, or what kind of experiences have you had? Lone female riding, adventuring, what's your experience?
So anyway, I finished the rally, and even though I fell out with the two ladies that I was with, so I started riding back. I met some great places, and I all met when I was outside of Barcelona.
Yeah.
My pannier fell off.
Okay.
At the toll, and I got it back on, and it was fine. And then I get to this lay-by, just go and inspect it and look at it. I stopped, and I thought, I'm only 30 miles away outside, so I'll look at hotels or whatever before, that's what I would do, because I don't book in advance because things can go wrong.
Yeah.
My bike could break down or anything, and I won't get that money back. I found you got best deals that way anyway. I got 30 miles outside, and I was looking at hotels and everything, and this random guy comes up in the most 90s sketchy van that almost was like, do we have candy? Kind of sketchy, and I'm on my own, and it gives me an orange, and I'm like, okay, thank you, but I know I'm not going to eat it because there's things out there that they inject oranges with. I took it anyway because I was being nice. Don't want to be rude, or I didn't want to start anything or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he said, do I want to sit in the van with him?
Where was you sitting on your bike?
No, I was off the bike. I was sitting on a picnic table.
And you're in all your bike gear?
Yeah. And I'm just, at this point, my anxiety is going off, full all red flags. And I completely forgot about the pannier at this point. The pannier meant nothing to me.
No.
And I was, I'm like, this is the thing with solo travel. And I've said it, I'm going, listen to your gut. Honestly. If you think something's sketchy, just go.
Yeah.
He could have done anything.
Yeah.
I said no, he could have easily just shoved me in the van. So that was, that was scary. That was, that anything could have happened. The bit I want to talk about the most is how the numbers for races needs to change, and there's the stigma towards women as well.
What you think? There's a stigma actually in the racing community, or actually?
Yeah, I got a lot. Still, again, you should get a small bike. You're going to be spending so much money on fixing it. Blah blah blah.
And that's a common thing. There's a lot of guys that are saying that.
Yeah.
Do women who are not in enduro racing or anything comment badly as well?
Yes, actually, women as well, not just men.
They'll say, what do you want to do that for? That's a man's job, or that kind of thing.
They get jealous. I fell out with those two girls I was staying with because they got jealous because I was getting male attention, obviously, because I was the only one there on a big bike. I was doing really well. I was getting better numbers.
Right.
And they were just not helping me, even though we were meant to be a team.
Yeah.
Nitpicking and just talking behind my back. I got a tire stolen.
You got a tire stolen?
I got a front tire and a mousse stolen. That was 200 quid's worth of money gone.
And you think it was somebody perhaps who was a bit jealous or a bit envious of what you were doing?
I can't say names, even though I have told them off and they've not admitted it. I already kind of know who it was, and because my friends who helped me change the tires, we put them underneath their truck, and I was with them all night, and we went back and it was gone.
Bit of a coincidence. So what you're saying is we need more women in enduro racing. We need more women to stand up to the plate and get in there and start enjoying the excitement and the thrill.
I've had a lot of women who ask me to set up a team.
Okay.
You know,
A
I would
female
like,
team.
yeah, I would like to set up one, but it's money. You know, that's the problem. You know, most people who ask me, I would assume couldn't afford to pay me. You know.
What about like the women bikers UK and things like that? Is it women bikers? I can't remember what their name is now.
The female bikers.
Female bikers, yeah.
Yeah, it's run by Adrina.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Is there a like a sponsorship type thing or something like that you know you could look at, or?
Yeah, I'm at the moment. I'm writing up a lot of stuff on trying to get sponsorships to take on board.
And would you do it for like England and Scotland, Wales, Ireland, everything included? Yeah.
But the thing is, it's getting transport. So I need a van.
Yeah.
And I need a mechanic. I'm not a mechanic. I am mechanically minded. I can fix my stuff, but I've not got the paperwork. So if anything went wrong, I can't stand on my own leg.
Do you work? You work full time? You work full time?
No, I'm trying to be self-employed at the moment. I'm trying to write blogs and sell them. And
okay. Yeah.
Get, money that way to help pay for me for my travels.
Absolutely. I do think there's a lot of ladies that will be interested in this. I do.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be stupid prices, because when I went to look up team prices, they were pricing me stupid numbers.
Was they?
You know, like 1,300 for a mechanic for a week.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
I could buy a bike for that, race it, and sell it again.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Yeah, you can't be doing that kind of numbers.
And then they would ask me £900 to get my bike from, not even from Scotland, by the way, from England to Spain.
Yeah. Right.
I would still have to get my bike from here down to England.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I did this. I didn't really do it for that. I did it because I was like, I spent, I think it was about £1,000 just there and back, and that's with hotels and food.
Sometimes, a whole host of things can hit you, can't it? Can really set you back, and just one little journey on a motorbike.
It was hard, and that's why I call it's the race there and the race back. Because I was racing there and I was racing home.
Yeah. So you're racing to get there, then you're racing, and then you're But I guess with a little bit of experience in that as well, as you go through the years, this is going to get easier and easier, and you're just going to start flying through this stuff.
Yeah. I've had obstacles I'm learning mechanics now. I can know mechanics, but I've never done them. I fixed a tube on Sunday because I went flat. Right. I changed the disc brakes and I changed pads on my front wheel last week. I've changed the oil in my bike for the very first time, and I've never done any of that. Because I've done it on the 125s, but I've never done it on the big bike. Yeah,
that's another good point for the ladies out there to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. So.
There is a sexism in dealerships as well. Still, I have experienced that heavily. They overcharge us more than they would a male. I had one place that kept my bike for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
that was not acceptable. I left it there and I went off on holiday to Turkey. Yeah. And then I said to him, okay, you can do it while I'm on holiday, and then I expect it back when I get back. It was still not back when I came. It was still not ready by the time I got back. He hadn't even touched it. He hadn't even looked at it. There's this thing, because women are more like, okay, you do it and that'll be fine. But men are like, no, I need it done now. I need this and I need this and I need that. And this is why I've learned just to do it myself now. Because I've had places that I've missed bolts. I've even had my punch bolts missing.
Wow.
I got home and they were gone.
What's your get up in the morning and makes you, gets you going? What is At
the moment, what gets me up in the morning is I am saving every penny I can to travel at the moment. I have now found that travel is what I want to do. It's changed my life. I was really depressed before, and right. I was just all in a slump, and now it's changed my life, and I can think of anything better.
Travel to race or just travel? Just travel on the bike?
Just travel. I actually enjoyed the traveling more than I did racing.
Right.
I do like racing, and I'll admit that, but I liked going to the destination and seeing things and meeting new people more.
Yeah, awesome.
Than I do the race. But the race has nice people at it as well. I've met some of the best people, and some people I would even say are my best friend from Hispania Rally.
Awesome. Well, Kerry, thank you for sharing your time with me and your stories.
If there's anyone who's interested in meeting me, or hosting me even at their house. You know, I'm trying to do it on a budget, obviously.
Where are
I'm
you
trying
going to be?
the whole of England, practically much. I'm going to be touring.
Oh, you're
So
touring.
Yeah, so I'm going to be going down from Durham side and to York, then down to Norfolk, then to Essex, and then across to Oxford because I'm doing the Overlander event.
Oh, okay.
And then from Oxford, I'm going to go down to probably, Portsmouth or whatever,
Okay.
and then go to round Wales, and then
Okay.
go up to Manchester to the Lake Districts, and then up to Scotland.
Lovely to speak to you, and enjoy sunny Scotland while you can. And we look forward to seeing you back down here in South England, down in Essex. All right then, Kerry.
Okay, bye.
Ride safe. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, motor people, I hope you enjoyed the show. I certainly got a lot out of talking to Kerry today. She really did highlight some great information, and she's got so much more that she wants to give. I just couldn't fit it all into one show. If you like the information we're doing, if you're enjoying the Motor Chat show, please, 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 please like, share, subscribe. Show us a bit of love back, guys. It's really, really appreciated. Take care. Remember, ride safe, and there's never a wrong way. So I'm told. Take care, guys.